Welcome to Reverse Mortgage Radio, hosted by Legend's very own reverse mortgage professor, Bruce Simmons. You have so many options with a reverse mortgage, everyone has a different opinion, and the government keeps changing the rules. You need to hear from the first certified reverse mortgage professional in Colorado to specialize exclusively in reverse mortgages, one of few in the state with the letters CRMP after his name. Bruce has the specific training and education you need to understand what you're buying. Now, here's your host, Bruce Simmons.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Reverse Mortgage Radio. I'm your host, Bruce Simmons, your local reverse mortgage professor right here in good old Colorado. Today, we're going to take a calm, clear walk through something that honestly can confuse a lot of people. I'm talking about the actual process that you go through of getting a reverse mortgage. And let me start with this. Getting a reverse mortgage is not like going to some forward mortgage website, typing in a few numbers and magically getting an instant quote. And it's also not something where you're shopping interest rates like you would a traditional mortgage. Unfortunately, a lot of people look at regular mortgages, a traditional forward mortgage, like a commodity. And in the industry, certain companies within that industry have really commoditized it. Hey, get the best rate and the lowest closing cost and you're good to go. And no service is like that. If you want to have somebody that you can reach out to later, you have a question when things are being processed, you have to have somebody local that you trust and that you can talk to. And that's the thing with reverse mortgages, because reverse mortgages are different. And a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about them. But today, what I want to do is break down the process of getting a reverse mortgage into 7 simple steps. From the very first moment you first hear about a reverse mortgage, all the way till your loan is finalized and funded. Okay? Also, too, if you visit my website at reversemortgageradio.net, usually on Tuesday, by Tuesday, it'll be this radio show will be posted on my website, and you can download a free PDF on my website. It'll be attached to this show. So you click on Reverse Mortgage Radio in the upper right-hand corner, and you can pull up this show, listen to this show again if you want. But there in the explanation about, or the summary of what the show is going to be about, will be a short PDF, just one page that breaks this down a little bit for you too. It's very good information, and I think that it's important that everybody understand how this works. And so let's go ahead and jump in. But the first step is simply knowing that the program exists. If you just happen to tune into this show and you're like, what the heck is this? Well, I'm going to explain kind of what a reverse mortgage is here in just a few minutes. But you also, you definitely have to be open to learning about what's actually true. Reverse mortgages have been around as an FHA insured, a government insured program since 1989. Yeah, there is still so many myths floating around. People think it's a scam. Well, I mean, most of the time, the government doesn't run scams. I mean, you can argue that Social Security is one, but most of the time when the government insures a program, it's a good program usually. And but there are a lot of myths with this. You know, the bank's going to take your home, your kids won't inherit anything, or you lose control of your house. There won't be any equity left. All those things are not true. They're definitely not true. So awareness means you know that the program exists and you're willing to be open enough to sort out fact from fiction. You hear some people that hold themselves out as professional managers or money professionals, and they swear all debt is terrible and that reverse mortgages are a scam. That's just, it's not true. I mean, just like anything, nothing is for everyone, right? And I hate when people say, well, reverse mortgage isn't for everyone, but that you're qualifying it. And I don't think this program needs to be qualified. However, it's true. I mean, home ownership is not for everyone, right? So obviously, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone. It's up to you to sort fact from fiction and make your own decision. I'm not going to try to talk you into it. I'm going to give you the facts, although I am biased towards it. I'll tell you, anybody who sells this program is going to be biased towards it because, one, we've got a financial interest in you actually doing the loan. We don't get paid if you don't do the loan. I know there's companies that say, well, our loan officers are salary-based. Yeah, salary-based. That means they get big bonuses depending on the volume that they produce. So they're incentivized to close loans, just like the rest of the sales. And no matter what you're buying, any kind of sales, somebody's going to get paid on it. Okay, but you don't have to understand everything when you're just learning about the program. You just need to have an open mind and be willingness to learn how the program really works. And then you can dig into some of the minutiae and the details and see, is this really for me? But what I want to do at this point is go ahead and give you a quick overview of how the reverse mortgage works. Now, I've been doing reverse mortgages exclusively for 22 years. That's the only program I offer. If you tell me you want a HELOC, I'm going to send you off to a bank or a credit union. So you got to go somewhere else. If you want to refinance your conventional mortgage with another conventional mortgage, I'll refer you to somebody in my company that can do that. I will not do that for you. I only do reverse mortgages. I'm not smart enough to multitask here. But let me give you the quick down and dirty. In a nutshell, a reverse mortgage is an FHA insured program. FHA stands for Federal Housing Administration. And it's specifically designed for people that are 62 and over. It allows you to convert a portion of the value of your home into money that you can spend. Because right now, if you've got $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 locked up in the value of your home, you can't spend it. You can't go to the grocery store or the pharmacy or the gas station and say, I've got equity in my house. Give me this product. It don't work that way. You've got to convert it to cash. That's what a reverse mortgage allows you to do. Really, if you think about it, there's only 3 ways you can convert equity in your home into cash. One is with a traditional mortgage or HELOC. So you get a loan on the house in some form or fashion, and you have to pay it back. Number 2, you could sell your house, get all your equity out, then you got all this money. Of course, you don't have a place to live, but that's okay, right? No, a reverse mortgage kind of combines both of those because it allows you to get a loan on the house, but as long as you live there and you pay your property taxes, you pay your homeowner's insurance, you maintain the home and keep your name on title, you never, ever, ever have to make a mortgage payment. The reason you have to do those things is because the house is still yours. It's still your home. You can paint it purple or add a bedroom, whatever, but you can't destroy the house. But you have to maintain it and pay the taxes and insurance and all that. You're never charged you don't have to make a payment, I should say. You are charged interest. It's a loan. Don't forget that. It's not free money. You don't want to blow this money. You want to use it judiciously. But what it allows you to do is to pay off maybe an existing loan that you have right now. If you have a mortgage on your home right now and you're making $1,000 principal and interest payment and then another $500 on top of that in taxes and insurance, well, if we can loan you enough money to pay off that existing mortgage, that will immediately save you $1,000 a month. Now you say, well, my mortgage payment is $1,500. Yes, but remember, $500 of that goes to the escrow. The escrow is where the bank holds back or they collect extra money from you to pay your property taxes and insurance. If you get a reverse mortgage, now that's on you. You need to save that money and set it aside. And we talk about that. I show you ways that you can do that, whether it's setting up a monthly payment with your insurance company or you establish your own escrow account, essentially, saving that money every month so that when the bills do come due, you've got that money available. Okay? But what it does, it allows you to convert a portion of the value of your home into money, and as long as you live there, you never have to pay it back. You just have to do those 5 things I mentioned. Pay property taxes, live there as your primary residence, pay your homeowner's insurance, maintain the home, and keep your name on title. That's it. However, like I said, you're charged interest. So what happens to that interest that you're charged? It gets added to your loan balance. Your loan balance will get bigger over time. It grows over time. You have to be okay with that. If you're not, don't do the loan. Because if you borrow $100,000 today, 5 years from now, you might owe $150,000. Now, odds are, if your home is worth $500,000, 5 years from now, it might be worth $600,000 or more. So that's one thing people forget. And also, you're keeping that mortgage payment you would have been paying out every month in your pocket. So you're still gaining appreciation, and you're keeping the cash in your pocket, or you're spending it to improve your lifestyle. So now you're not pinching pennies. You're not worried about taking that trip to California to see your new grandbaby, or you're not worried about helping out your grandson or maybe your adult children to get a down payment on a house or pay college, whatever it may be. You're able to go out to lunch with your group from church, whatever. There's all these things that will improve the quality of your life if you have better cash flow. And that's what a reverse mortgage does for you. So there are negatives in the fact that the loan balance will grow over time. That's the trade-off, and you've got to be okay with that. All right, so that's step number one is simple awareness. Step number two is you gather information. Once you're aware of the program, the next step is good factual information. And this is where the internet is just so beneficial these days. However, let me caution you, stick to sites that talk about facts, not ones that give an opinion. Not ones that say, oh, you should not do a reverse mortgage, or you should do a reverse mortgage. Don't go to either of that. Go to the government sites. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of government, but they've got good information on reverse mortgages. HUD.gov, G-O-V, HUD.gov, and reverse mortgage, site / reverse mortgage, and you'll find some information there. The Federal Trade Commission has some good information. I just typed in reverse mortgages, and there's a lot of company stuff. Skim over that and look for the websites that are government ones. Or there is the National Reverse Mortgage Lenders website. That's got a lot of great information. It's not trying to sell you anything. It's reversemortgage.org. Of course, my website is great. I've got a lot of great information, but I'm biased. I'm not trying to talk you into it, but I want to make sure that you understand it in a positive light on my website, okay? My website is reversemortgageradio.net, reversemortgageradio.net. By the way, if you have any questions about this show today, you can reach out to me at 303-513-2748. My name is Bruce Simmons. You're listening to Reverse Mortgage Radio, and today I'm talking about the 7 steps involved in getting a reverse mortgage. All right. So that's gather basic information online. Then you have to call somebody probably. However, one thing I want to caution you, at this stage, do not give your social security number out. If a website requires it, or you talk to somebody and they say, we have to get your social security number to give you a quote to let you know how much we can loan you, hang up, run away, log off, whatever, because it's not required. Nobody needs your social security number to give you a free quote. You can get it on my website. There's a link up at the top that says, get a free quote. And it's pretty close. It's not perfect, but it'll give you a good ballpark as to whether or not a reverse mortgage will loan you enough money even to pay off your existing mortgage, or it'll give you an idea how much you qualify for. The other thing, though, is you do want to avoid these sites that have landing pages, and they immediately ask you for information. Don't fill those out. What happens is that whoever owns that information will sell it. They will sell it, and you'll feel like you're getting 1,000 phone calls. Even though maybe it's only going to 3 or 4 companies, it seems like you're getting calls, multiple calls every day, and it's a pain. You just want to avoid that. I do not sell your information. If you plug in your information on my website, I will call you to ask you if you have any questions, see if I can answer, help you understand things, but I'm not going to sell your information. I will be the only one calling you. And I'm not going to, if you tell me you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. We'll go our separate ways. Okay? That's very important. But just gather information. And like I said, you do end up having to talk to somebody at some point to get accurate information and a free quote. Just try not to let them sell you on it. If you don't feel comfortable, don't move forward. If you're feeling pressured, just say, I'm going to shop around, or I'm not interested, whatever, and then call somebody else. Okay. Step 3, you've found out about it. You've done some research and you think, this might just work for me. So then you have to talk to a reverse mortgage counselor. Now, when you get a quote from a company, most of the time they're going to give you a list of counselors. Don't let somebody talk you into calling a certain counselor. They have to give you a quote. That's required. A list of counselors. That's required. And then you are supposed to choose. Now, some people will say, well, this one is quicker if you're in a hurry to get it done, or this is the easiest, this is the cheapest, because usually they'll charge between $150 and $200. That should be the only fee that you ever have to pay. I do not charge or collect for an appraisal or credit report or application fee or anything. If companies do that, you may want to shop around. But the reason there's counseling involved is, like I said, this became an FHA program in 1989. And the lawmakers who passed this, they wanted to make absolutely sure that older homeowners were not being taken advantage of. That's the only reason counseling exists. The counselors want to make sure that you understand what you're doing, you understand how the program works, you understand the negative amortization, meaning the interest gets added onto your loan balance, you understand the closing costs, but they also want to make sure you understand your requirements. Those are the 5 things I mentioned. You have to live there as your primary residence. You have to pay your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance, maintain the home, and keep your name on title. The counselor's job is not to convince you to do it or not do it. Their job is to make sure you understand the pros and cons and responsibilities. And that is very important, okay? See, because when you're talking to people like me, salespeople, I'm biased towards this program. I think it's a fantastic program. I can't wait to do it myself. And I convey that to people, okay? Sometimes I have customers say, well, would you recommend I do this? I think it's a great program. I love this program. And like I said, I'm going to do it. So I'm not an unbiased party in the process. I only get paid if you do the loan. So I've also got a financial interest in you doing it. Remember, anybody who you're talking to is going to have that financial interest if they're a salesperson. If they're the ones that are going to originate the loan for you, they've got a financial interest in it. They can say, I just get paid a salary. Maybe they get paid a salary, but I guarantee they also get bonuses or something depending on the volume that they produce. All right. Number 4, the 4th step in the process is the application, the actual application. We made it this far. You've done the research, you've done the counseling. Now it's time to meet with the loan officer and start the application. You can do this through eDocs. That's becoming through COVID, it really became more popular. That's where the lender will send you by email the loan package. You have to choose a signature, set up a password, but then once you have it, all you do is click, 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 instead of having to sign your name. This is great for people who have arthritis or Parkinson's, because honestly, our applications are elder abuse. It's terrible. I tell people I'm with the Department of Redundancy department. I tell you things 2 and 3 and 4 times, and you have to sign saying I told you this stuff. It's crazy. It's abusive. But I like to do things in person, but if you want to, a lot of times, or what I've started doing, I should say, is I can email you the package, and then we can schedule a time to meet where I can come out and you pull up your computer, I'll help get you logged in so, you can choose your signature and a password and all that. And then I'll explain the documents as we go through them. Okay. But at that time, I also need to gather information from you. And usually when we meet for what I call the information meeting, that's before you do the counseling. That's when you're just gathering information. I leave you a list of documents that I'm going to need for the application. So hopefully you have time to find all this, because we need your ID. There's a number of things. We need your ID, your Social Security card. And a lot of people don't have one anymore. They lost it. It's someplace safe. Definitely someplace safe. You don't know where it is, but it's someplace safe. You can also use your 1099 from Social Security. That's the one that you get in January that says how much money you made the previous year, because that has your Social Security number on it. We can't use a tax return because you're the one that put the Social Security number on it. It didn't come from the government. But so we need your ID, your Social Security verification, if you will, your current mortgage statement, if you have a mortgage, your homeowner's insurance information. That would be like your declarations page. Usually it's about 4 pages. If you have a homeowners association, we need that information as well, because we have to verify all this stuff, that you've paid your taxes and insurance on time and your homeowners association. And then we also have to do income verification. This is where we get something called, if you get Social Security, we get your Social Security award letter. That's the form that you get in December of every year. And it says, like last year in 2025, it's cost of living adjustment. At the top, it says it folds out really long. You tear off the edges and it folds out longer than a traditional 8.5 by 14 even page, a long one. But on one side, it has your breakdown. It says your gross amount, how much they're taking out for Medicare, and then how much they pay you on a monthly basis. That's either the Social Security award letter or the benefits letter. And that's what we need. Or if you get a pension, say from PARA, if you have a W-2 or a pay stub from PARA, and then what happens is my processor has to call you to get, and then she does a 3-way phone call with you and to PARA to get an award letter for that, or wherever you receive that money from, the railroad, whatever. If your work, we'll need W-2s and pay stubs if you're still working, you're not receiving Social Security. Or if you own a business or you have rental property, then we're going to need your income tax returns for the previous 2 years. We also need bank statements to show that income is going into your account. And then also asset statements if you have IRAs or 401ks or annuities, if we need that. Now, if you get Social Security and we can qualify you just on that income, I don't want any of the other stuff. You could have a business. I don't want to know about it, okay? It just confuses and complicates things. We want to keep it simple, okay? Sometimes people need a power of attorney, or if you have a trust, we need a copy of the trust. If you have solar panels, I'll need the paperwork for the solar panels, all that stuff. So I gather all that, you sign all the papers, then I get to work. Well, I give it to my processor and she gets to work. No, actually, I do stuff too, but I mostly give it to my processor. She's going to gather all this stuff up. Well, first thing she does is she has to get something called an FHA case number. And then we order the appraisal. I get a lot of people saying, okay, well, I've done the counseling. Do I get an appraisal now? Well, you do the application, then we order the appraisal. And a lot of people say, well, how do I get an appraiser here? I don't know any appraisers. You don't have to worry about it. We go through something called an appraisal management company, and they choose an independent appraiser for us. I can't talk to the appraiser. They have to choose the appraiser. Then the appraiser calls you. I don't know who it's going to be. People say, well, who should I expect to call from? And a lot of people will tell me, I don't answer the call if I don't know the number. And that's fine. You don't have to. The appraiser will leave a voicemail. Just check it quickly. If you get a voice, you see you have a voicemail, check it and call back. And then you can schedule the time that works for you and the appraiser. But that's part of the processing is we get the appraisal. We check the title on the home. We want to make sure you don't have a bunch of judgments or liens against your property. And if we do, we have to make sure there's enough money that we can loan you enough money to pay all that stuff off. One time I did a loan for a lady whose son was a deadbeat and he was on title to her house. And when we pulled her title report, he skipped out on a rent for a big apartment complex. So they had a lien of about $1,300 or $1,500. Rent-A-Center. He owed money to them. And there was some other judgment for something else too. I don't remember. And she had to pay all that stuff off because her son was on title to the house. And then basically he signed a quitclaim deed taking himself off the title So that's kind of how that works. But those are the things that we do during the processing. That brings us to the sixth step, and that's the closing. Yay, we made it to the closing. Basically, what happens is once we get the final approval, I call you and I say, hey, great news. We've got the closing done. In fact, just this week, I called somebody and because I've got a closing we scheduled for next week. And we call and say, okay, do you still want the $25,000 that up front and the rest of the money in the line of credit? Or do you want any money up front or things like that? Okay, so we clarify the terms, how much money you want, how much money you're leaving in the line of credit. If you leave money in the line of credit, remember, it takes about a month after we close the loan to establish a line of credit. So there's going to be a month where you won't have access to any money. So if you need money, if you're going to do home repairs and you've got the contractors coming next week, you're going to want to take that money now. I always say, don't take any more money than you're going to use pretty quickly because you're still charged interest on it. And there's nothing wrong with leaving it in a line of credit and then you can draw it out when you need it. But after you sign everything, you're like, okay, now I want my 25 grand. Where's the check? Afraid you don't get it. No, it's not available. There's federal law that says we have to wait 3 business days before the loan becomes quote unquote official. That's called the rescission period. You can cancel during that period. See, we have to give you this time to review all the documents. Remember, this is like a 2-inch thick packet you get to sign again. I always joke with people. I say, it takes about a month from the time you sign the application to closing. This loan I just scheduled for next week, that one only took a little less than 3 weeks, actually. Other ones have taken 6 weeks. It just depends on the complexity of your situation. And then, so you sign everything, and then we have to wait those 3 business days. Let's say we close on a Monday. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are the 3 days, and then we fund the loan Friday. We send the money to the title company. The title company will send you a check. They'll wire it to you. And then we pay off the mortgage company, the mortgage that you owed and all that stuff. And then after that, it takes about a month for the loan to get set up. Okay? So that's how all that works. Then that's the rescission. That's everything. So let's wrap this up. Remember, the 7 steps are: number 1, awareness. Number 2, you gather information. Number 3, you have to talk to an independent third party that's approved by HUD. That's the counseling. Number 4 is the application. Number 5 is the processing. And then number 6 is closing. Number 7, you're done. We have to wait that 3 business days. Now, let's say you close on a Saturday real quick, or a Thursday. You have to wait Friday, Saturday, and Monday. And if there's a federal holiday in there, we have to skip that too because that doesn't count. So it's not a quick and automated system, okay? But it's a good thing. This is a major decision, and it deserves a thoughtful process. If you're thinking about a reverse mortgage, you've been curious but unsure, or if you want straight facts without pressure or tactics, you need to give me a call. You can reach me directly. My name is Bruce Simmons. My number is 303-513-2748. That's my cell phone number. And I've had that number. I just got a notice from Verizon saying I've had that number 20 years. But anyways, give me a call. Text me at that number, 303-513-2748, or visit me online at reversemortgageradio.net. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
Call Bruce Simmons today. Ask about his free Colorado Consumer Guide, 303-467-7821, or reversemortgageradio.net. Bruce will come to you anywhere across the Front Range to make sure you understand how reverse mortgages work. Regulated by DORA, NMLS number 409914. American Liberty Mortgage is an equal housing lender.